Dr. Anand, what is the one insight or message you hope attendees took away from your session at the Gladiator Summit?
Okay, there were quite a few, but if there was one that I would like to really hope they took away, it was this idea of being larger than the space you occupy. I think this is the core of all human development. You can never develop in anything if you are fully occupying the space that you're currently at. You may be very good at what you're doing, but if you're at that space, then we will keep you there because you fill it excellently. All of evolution and history has happened when an organism has grown bigger than the space it is currently occupying, and therefore it needs to create a much bigger space for itself. So it's the same with humans, whether it is spiritual spaces, financial spaces, professional spaces, intellectual spaces, emotional and relational spaces. You have to be larger than the space you currently occupy if you expect growth to come out of it. So this is the one key thing I wanted to give them.
Can you give us an example of that?
Yes, I'll give you an example. I'll give you, in fact, what I shared in the video. So, in case anyone sees it again, it's a refresher for them. Let's take, for example, relationships. Okay, you're always going to be working with humans, even in the world of AI. Now, most people, when they say make a mistake, they fail really badly. Their expectation is always that the person whom they may have hurt should forgive them, and that person should actually be able to continue to work with them, carry on like nothing went wrong, and even support them. This is how generally people are. But if you're that kind of a person, you are smaller than the space you occupy because you want the other person to forgive you. They have to accept you, they have to treat you like nothing went wrong, they must continue to encourage you. They are the larger ones in the relationship. So that is an example. So we need to be actually larger than the space that we occupy if we expect growth or evolution to happen.
So, talking about this growth, if you had to give practical advice to young professionals, entrepreneurs, particularly in this region, to implement immediately in their personal or professional lives, what would that be?
If we are taking it to the same concept of being larger than the space you occupy, we can apply that firstly to vision. What's the reason you're setting up your business? What do you hope to accomplish? How are you going to make a difference to the community in which you set up your business? If you're going to be another service provider like everybody else, you are not larger than the space you occupy. When an Apple shows up or a Tesla show up, they are larger than the space they occupy. They're already coming into industries where there are cars and multiple producers. They became larger than that current space, and that is the reason why they began to dominate. So you need to sit down and think firstly, what is your goal? How is that going to make you larger than the current space in which you want to operate? Otherwise, you're just one option among many, and there's no reason for some. If I can get from you what I'm also going to get from somebody else, then why you?
So, yesterday in one of the sessions, you also spoke about humility. Could you expand a bit more about that?
Okay, humility is one of the greatest forms of courage, if you ask me. Ego is something we all carry, and an ego is a good thing. However, the ego should be built on the right principles. Human engagement is, see, self-respect comes from ego, self-belief comes from ego, which, so we need good healthy egos. But we do not have to dominate another person by showing my ego is bigger than yours. Humility is a quality of the brave, not the weak. Okay? Arrogance and hostility are the qualities of the weak. Even if they are ruling empires, when you're arrogant, you have very low emotional intelligence. And as a human to human, you are operating from a very low standard. Okay, humility is where you show the strength of character. I know I can respond to you. I know I can make you feel small, but I will choose not to. That is real strength. It's controlled strength. That's what we need. Between everything that happens to us and the manner in which we respond, there is always a space. And within that space lies the power of choice. And that is where humility comes in. Humility also expands into being open enough to accept correction, feedback, even if it doesn't sound nice to you, but it is important for you to grow. So when we are not humble, We are not open to feedback, in which case that means the only intelligence we will ever have access to is our own. But when you are humble, you have access not just to your own, but to that of the world.
So, talking about this access that you're speaking about, can you share with us how does the summit like this, like the Gladiator Summit, serve as a platform for sharing actionable strategies that drive both innovation and resilience?
I think in many ways. The first thing is like minded people come together. People who are spending their weekend here instead of going to the beach or having a drink with their friends have come for a reason. It could be that they may be lacking in a particular area and they're looking for solutions which we can provide, or it could be they're looking for the next level to show up. And they want to meet with people who have done that already. So you will find like minded people coming here who have already expressed their desire to become better humans by just showing up. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you look at the speakers that we have, all of them were not born with a golden spoon in their mouth. Many of them have been beaten down and taken to rock bottom. But from there, they have reinvented themselves, come back based on strong belief systems, changed their whole way of looking at things and operating. And today, they are recognized around the world, and people come to them looking for the same. So, from that perspective, the speakers that you have at Gladiator are people who are very real world people who know what it is like to be in your shoes. They've been there, but they also know how to get you out of their shoes and into our shoes right now. That's where they give you the call to action and some very practical things that you can go back and immediately implement. Now, again, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If you are sick and you go to a doctor and he prescribes some really good medicine to you, but you take the bottle home and you look at the label, but you don't consume its content, there's no way you're going to get well. So I have to say this that even if you have excellent speakers, they are not coming with a guaranteed magic wand result for you that you just take it, you go out and you're done. No, you're going to have to put it into play. The solutions that we are giving you will work if they are implemented.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, for your insights and those very profound statements. We look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you for having me.